Just finished listening to the Trump Rogan interview, and it was awesome. This is probably by far my favorite part. I've never heard him say this story before. Maybe you have, but gotta hear it if you haven't listened to it before.
I flew to Iraq, and I met the real generals, not these idiots that we deal with. We
Milley,
knocked out,
Kelly.
I defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate.
Mm-hmm.
They said it would take 5 years. I did it in a matter of literally a few weeks. That's why I went. I said, how could it take 5 years? We have brand new fighters. We have the best planes, the best weapons, the best guns, the best bombs. How could it possibly take that long? I flew in, left at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody knew I was going. I got on Air Force One and we started flying.
First of all, have you ever heard of a president doing that? Biden hasn't even spoken to Putin since Russia invaded Ukraine. And Trump is doing a covert flight into a hostile country in the middle of the night. Badass.
When we reached about half an hour away from Iraq, they said, sir, I'm sorry, you'll have to turn off all your lights. Why? We're getting close to our site, our land. I said, you mean we spent 20 years, $8 trillion, and we can't leave the lights on in a plane?
Because it's too dangerous?
Yeah, too dangerous, because they see the light up in the air and they'll shoot at you.
Pathetic. Doesn't that bother you? I mean, again, why I love this guy, because he calls out that BS. You think Obama or Biden or Bush is going to call that out? That they'd probably just be like, "Oh, okay, turn off the light." If they even had the balls to fly there in the first place, which I don't believe any of them did. I've never heard of Obama doing something like that. Biden definitely hasn't.
The plane was pitch black. All the lights outside. You know the blinking. They go the blinking red. And I like to sit with pilots a lot of times, and these guys are specimens. And you know they pick the best pilots in the Air Force, United States Air Force, to fly Air Force One. And I get up there, and I'm sitting, and I'm feeling my way up. You know, it's up high because 747, so you go through the stairs. But I sort of knew my way up. There wasn't a light in the plane. I'm saying, can you imagine? We spent trillions of dollars, and we're trying to fly in blind. But I got into the plane. The cockpit is dark black, little tiny light. You could see the pilot. A perfect-looking human being, co-pilot. Everybody was perfect. They were all like movie stars. You know, it's like I could have cast a movie with these guys and nobody would believe it because they were too good-looking. So I said, how are we doing, Captain? Sir, we'll be landing in 10 minutes. And I look outside. There's not a light. And I'm saying, you know, I've landed a lot of planes. And you see like little lights at least. There's nothing. It's just pure desert. And I said, okay, Captain, good, but I'm looking. Now you've been in many planes where it has the computer sign saying 1,000 feet. Goes 1,900, 700. I said, Captain, are we okay? He said, sir, we're fine. No problem, sir. And I'm telling you, Joe, you know, there's always a light. There's not a little pin. And all of a sudden, psh, and you hear, blah, blah, perfect landing like glass. It was so dark, you couldn't see a thing. There was no runway. You wouldn't know where the hell you are. You're in the middle of a desert. And then I got out of the plane. I said, thank you, Captain. That's a great job. And then I got out of the plane. And
by the way, real quick, the fact that he stops and takes the time to speak to and get to know the captain is awesome. Super cool. Again, don't imagine other presidents doing that. As much as they try to portray Trump as not a man of the people, he's much more of a man of the people than Biden, Bush, Obama, Clinton. From what I've heard, very much that is the case.
I'm going down and I see a general and another general, and I see a staff sergeant, a drill sergeant, and various guys, all central casting. Central casting. They said, sir, would you like to rest? I said, I don't want to rest. I want to figure out what the hell are we doing with ISIS. I'm hearing we can't. It's going to take years. No, sir, we can do it very quickly, sir. And anyway, we go into the room. I mean, Biden would have taken a nap for 4 days and then left without a meeting. So we go into the room, and they have these guys. I say, how long can you do it? How long? We can do it in a couple of weeks, sir. I said, wait a minute. They told me 5 years. We can do it in, I don't know, he gave me a number like in no time. I said, why haven't you done it? Because the orders came in from Washington, sir, and they would come here and tell us what to do. Don't you challenge us? We're not allowed to do that, sir. That's not the military way. They tell us what to do, and we have to respect them.
Doesn't that just drive you crazy? Now ask yourself logically, why would Washington prolong this ISIS conflict that could be ended in a few weeks, proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, was wiped out in a few weeks after this meeting? Why are they projecting it to be this 5-year thing? Why is it that Obama was saying North Korea was the biggest threat to America when he was leaving office and that it was a high risk of nuclear war? But then once Trump gets in, that de-escalates very quickly and they become, somewhat amicable. I would venture to say that a reasonable speculation would be that it's beneficial to Washington to have that threat that exists because, that justifies spending, that justifies deploying troops. That's, cha-ching, 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 expense, expense, expense. What incentive would Milley and General Kelly have to keep people there, not take out the enemy, and ultimately have more money sent to the military industrial complex? I don't know. Maybe they're getting paid to do that directly or indirectly. It'd be interesting to see what the net worth of General Milley and General Kelly are. But this is precisely why, at first I was fully committed to working for the CIA. That's what I was planning on doing in college my first few years. But once I started to realize, they started to tell you, yes, you know, gain full knowledge of the situation and then tell it to the decision maker. And then no matter what you think, the decision maker ultimately decides what happens from a, action standpoint. And I said, screw that, because it sounds precisely like what these guys are dealing with on the ground. These real military people who, they're fully aware they could take out the threat in 3 weeks, but, the bureaucrat, whatever you want to call it, the BS coming from Washington is, basically tying their hands and feet together. So love this story. I love people who are men of action. And that's why I lost all desire to work for the CIA or any government intelligence agency. And why I didn't go in the army too, because I cannot deal with knowing what the right answers are and not executing them and letting stupid people be the ones who make the decisions. So media first, then politics. That's my route. And I could not be more thankful that we have Trump and it's looking like he's going to win this thing. So give me your best argument for why anything they said here is undesirable. Literally can't think of a thing. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later. Definitely go watch this full interview.